Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about insecurity and security, and I'm going to be doing this in the context of our current situation, which is lockdown, or the beginning of the easing of lockdown, the context of the COVID-19 virus. And also I'm going to be talking about it in the context of Buddhist practice. I don't think Buddhism really gives certainties. It doesn't talk about things in a secure way. Instead of that, it talks about insecurity, or it talks about uncertainty, but encourages us to embrace these things so that they no longer cause us fear and anxiety. Many people, I've heard, are experiencing very, very difficult mental sufferings on account of COVID-19. The whole situation is so unfamiliar to us, so unknown to us. There's unknowing about how COVID-19 will affect us in particular, and our families perhaps, and our friends. How in particular will it affect us? Maybe we will get the virus, maybe we'll be ill, maybe we'll survive, maybe we won't. Many people are experiencing insecurity in relation to their work and therefore their income. How are people going to survive this crisis financially? In many ways, we're very well off in our particular situation. I'm talking about here in the UK, but there's many other countries that also are fortunate in the ways they're able to deal with the crisis. But there are also places which are not able to deal with it in the same ways, so that there's a great deal of extra suffering. I'm thinking in particular now of the situation in India, where there are many, I don't know whether it's millions or whether it's thousands of migrant workers who have been trying to get back home, travelling long distances, and many have been undernourished, no money, unable to survive. So there's a huge cloud of uncertainty about this whole situation. I was reflecting how I might have dealt with this situation myself if I hadn't had the good fortune, the benefits of Buddhist practice. And by Buddhist practice I mean not just meditation, but also the support of Buddhist friends. Really, both those things so necessary at this time, so beneficial. As I said earlier, Buddhism doesn't teach that things are secure or permanent or fixed. But we have a tendency to want things to be secure and permanent and fixed. what we find if we look closely into our experience is that nothing really is fixed, nothing really is certain. And although this can be a source of great anxiety, it can also be a source of great liberation. If we always put energy into trying to secure things, trying to fix things, how are we ever going to be free in the face of impermanence and insubstantiality? Those things tell us, those teachings tell us that everything changes and that there is no fixed essence in things or in beings. Mental suffering can be very, very great, can take us into very, very dark places. I've had some experience of this myself during my life, where everything is closed in, as though I'm in a very restricted, limited, confined, dark place, where I've shut out the light, not wanted to let the light in. What I've learnt over the years is that I've tended to swing between depression and elation, those two extremes. Neither of them really is that beneficial. Elation may feel more pleasant than depression, but actually it doesn't last, and it's quite tiring. You can't maintain elation. There's too much excitement there. It wears itself out. So what I've learnt is that when these two extremes begin to appear in my experience, that I recognise that that's what's happening. I recognise that perhaps I become depressed because things don't go the way I want them to. I don't understand life. Life seems overwhelming. I want to hide away. I want obscurity perhaps, or I want to not exist. But elation, on the other hand, is very exciting, feels good. One wants to exist when one feels elated. There's a joyful energy about it, but as I said before, in my experience it doesn't last. If I get too elated, then I know that there will be a crash after it, and I will fall back to the other extreme. So with the practices, the Buddhist practices of metta and mindfulness, I've learnt to bring about some element of equanimity to my experience. Whatever arises, whether it's pleasant or painful, or just neutral, I try to have a non-reactive attitude to that. Okay, here's the dark side of my existence coming into being right now, right here. And again, on another occasion, here is the light or bright side of my existence coming into manifestation right now. Or here is just a fairly ordinary level of existence, neither too dark nor too light. But all of these states, all of these situations, they just arise and pass away. So what really can I do other than develop equanimity towards this? I can't permanently erase the dark, and I can't permanently fix the light. But as I move between the two, actually the light increases, I find. That there is a much greater lightness to my being. It's like a positive aspect of insecurity. I used to think of insecurity as being a real negative experience. But actually now I'm beginning to see that insecurity, in another sense, just means liberation in an unfixed situation.